here's Brody Brazil.
You know, for as much as I do want to congratulate Shohei Ohtani on becoming baseball's first ever 50-50 club member, I do have to also admit that when he got to 40-40 and with so much time left in the season, it was almost going to be a disappointment if he didn't accomplish what he did tonight. In Florida against the Marlins, a terrific offensive performance, 3 homers, 17 total bases, 10 RBI, as the Dodgers not only clinched their playoff spot, but Shohei Ohtani makes baseball history, technically getting to 51-51. I'm going to offer 5 thoughts about this milestone in just a second, but first, let's establish what the old club used to be, what the old standard and bar, where it was set. 40-40 club members. Jose Canseco was the first ever to do that with the Oakland A's in 1988. 42 homers, but he really had to grind to get to that 40th steal of the season. He did that in 151 games. In 1996, Barry Bonds, on the other side of the bay, 42 homers, 40 steals, 158 games. A-Rod did it 2 years later in 1998. Then we get into the 2000s. Alfonso Soriano does it. And then it's quite some time until Ronald Acuna Jr. did it last year with Atlanta. 41 homers and 73 stolen bases. Now, we should take note of Acuna Jr. doing this in 152 games. The rules have changed for the pitch timer and the amount of disengagement, so stealing bases is different now than it ever used to be. But I don't take anything away from the 40-40 club members, and Acuna was easily going to get to a number like 40. He just happened to get to 73 because of his talent, and maybe in some part because of the rule changes. But that's the old club. Now this is the new standard right here. But will anybody else ever get to 50-50 like Shohei Ohtani has done in 2024? Heck, what's to stop him in the final dozen games of hitting 9 homers and 9 stolen bases? I mean, he does want to get a little bit of a breather maybe before the playoffs, but he also doesn't want to take his foot off the essential gas pedal before the playoffs. So 51-51 is where he sits after 150 games played. Here's some fun facts from Major League Baseball. In Ohtani's last 80 games dating back to his 2-homer game on June 16th. By the way, this was before tonight's 3-home run outburst. All of that would have qualified as a really good season for most players. A .270 batting average, a 30-30 season since June 16th alone. 31 homers, 34 stolen bases. Actually, do the math, add in a couple more here now. 34 homers and 36 stolen bases, including tonight. Again, that stat was from before tonight's game. Just goes to show you what an absolute tear he's been on since the middle of June. And also, before tonight, now I did update this one, Ohtani has stolen 28 consecutive bases as of right now without getting caught. His last caught stealing came back on July 22nd against the Giants. Blake Snell was on the mound and Patrick Bailey was behind the dish. 28 straight stolen bases without getting caught. So not only is he stealing at a massive amount, we'll get into that in just a second too, nobody's even caught him down the stretch. He's not been thrown out, so why not give Ohtani the green light? And oh yeah, on this magnificent night for the Dodgers and Ohtani, Los Angeles clinches the inevitable playoff berth with that win against the Marlins in Florida. So let's begin with 5 different distinct thoughts about the 50-50 club. Number 1 being this: dozens of big league pitchers, specifically starters, are at home right now. They were watching this happen on television. They're home because they are recovering, unfortunately, from Tommy John surgery. You know who else is recovering from Tommy John surgery? Shohei Ohtani, who just created the 50-50 club during Tommy John rehab. Let's never forget this. He creates the club. Joe Davis did a great job on the Dodgers call of this. He establishes the 50-50 club. But he's recovering from Tommy John surgery this entire season and through this process. That will always go down as unbelievable to me. Shohei Ohtani also leads Major League Baseball in an unfortunate stat and category among the most active regular season games played without a postseason appearance. This list right here, with Ohtani and Candelario and Reynolds and Diaz, these are players who have played that many games since it was their last playoff appearance. Ohtani, right, 865 games, and now with the Dodgers in the playoffs. And it's good that that streak is only going to go, 10 more games, 12 more games to the end of the season. You don't want a player like Shohei Ohtani on a team like the Angels that is annually out of the playoffs for one reason or another. So if you're being selfish about the good of baseball, whether you love the Dodgers, hate the Dodgers, like for the good of baseball, it's nice to get Ohtani in the playoffs once in a while, right? And Ohtani was never a playoff player with the Angels because the last time they made it as a team, 2014, they got swept by the Royals. So Ohtani and Trout together in Los Angeles with the Angels never made the playoffs. Ohtani's finally in the playoffs. The next thought here of 5, this season might have been Ohtani's, I don't know if only chance is the right word, but best and maybe only chance to have a season like this, to have a 50-50 season. Why do I say that? Because if he's pitching in the rotation on a regular basis, at some point, not even necessarily the days he starts, he could still hit as the DH. But there's probably a day before or after the start when you want to give him that rest. So take away 20, 30 games for Ohtani, it's just harder to pull off a 50-50 season. So it kind of makes you wonder here, as the home runs came down the stretch, the Dodgers also didn't have Mookie Betts leading off, so Ohtani assumed the leadoff role. He starts stealing bases. It might be why he started picking up the pace on steals and became focused like, hey, I can do 40-40 this year, or I can do 50-50 this year. I'm going to start stealing bases. Look, between March, April, May, and June, he only had a total of 16 stolen bases until after the end of June. Into July, he only had 16 stolen bases. In July, he had a dozen. In August, he had 15 more. And now in September, 8 and counting. So you can kind of understand maybe he saw this light at the end of the tunnel of a 40-40 or a 50-50 season, and he started stealing more because of it. But again, how often can a season like that happen for Ohtani if he goes back to pitching? It's going to be nearly impossible without the amount of games played and at-bats, obviously. Here's another thought. I think this might be 4 of 5. He did not get cheated creating the 50-50 club. I mean, this game alone against the Marlins in Florida is going to go down in baseball history as of the utmost impressive. 8 at-bats, 6 hits, 4 runs scored, 10 RBI, 3 dingers, 2 swipes, 17 total bases. Just unbelievable for Shohei Ohtani. And then the last thing here is if you're the Dodgers, and this is an important thought, if you're the Dodgers and you're watching him do this, and I know he can pitch, and I know he wants to pitch, and I know you signed him up on that contract to pitch, but he's also produced a lot of sponsorship packages. He's a global entity. He's getting a lot of foreign business attention as sponsors now for the Dodgers. Like, he's providing the value of his contract. If you're the Dodgers, do you still want or really need Ohtani to continue his pitching career? Do you really need that? If you want to soak up every drop of that contract value, maybe you think about having him pitch again. But how about for the sake of longevity? Do you really want him to do that? Coming back from Tommy John, what if, I don't even want to say it right now. How about just the inconvenience of him sitting out games because he has to pitch, or he pitched the night before, or he's about to pitch the next day, and you need to get him that rest. If you're the Dodgers, seeing what you're seeing right now, and so long as your pitching staff doesn't absolutely need Ohtani in the rotation, do you really want to make him do that again next year? I know he's recovered from it, and that's what the whole purpose has been, but 50-50. My goodness. Kind of makes you wonder if pitching is a 50-50 proposition in a different way. But again, congrats to Shohei. I made this video like about a month ago saying he's at 40-40. I think he'll do it. I mean, that's the easiest prediction in the world. Turns out he makes it true. I'm glad for him that he did. And like I said, it's no surprise. I would have been disappointed if he didn't get it done. You made it here to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. Thumbs up down below. That greatly helps me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, but I would love it even more if you just take one quick second, go down there, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. That way I can definitely get to see you back here next time.